Our circumstances don't define us. Our actions do. We all have moments of impact. What are you going to do with yours? Welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet. And on this podcast today, we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to me because it's something I've had to own myself. Overthinking is not preparation. There's a fine line between thinking enough and overthinking, and we're going to dive into that a little bit today. But before we do that, I want to have you go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And for all of you who've already hit that subscribe button, I appreciate you. It helps me tremendously when it comes to growing the show and gaining more exposure and getting sponsorships. It's really, really important to me. Your comments and your sharing it and subscribing always matters, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube. Every single thing that you do matters to me, to the show, to the growth of the show as well. So like I said already, we're going to talk today about overthinking. And, you know, this episode's really for the person who maybe one of these will resonate for you. Person who's been thinking about it, planning it, researching it, replaying it, and somehow still hasn't started moving. You've thought about every single possible thing that could go right, everything that could go wrong, everything you have to do, but yet you're still in the same place. So if you want to move, start taking some action, start accomplishing what you want, I want you to hear what I'm about to say through a lens of love and clarity. The reason why I say that is we're going to call you up on quite a few different things today. And the first thing is you have to stop telling yourself that overthinking is preparation. Thinking, strategizing, taking action. All right. So you have to be aware enough. Overthinking feels responsible. It feels like it's the thing you should do. It feels like because you don't know enough that you shouldn't take action. But most of the time, if we're being honest, it's more about fear. It's fear coming into your life. You know, this overthinking is fear dressed up in a suit, I've heard some people say. So you're worried that it's fear that you'll mess up. Maybe it's fear that you'll be judged, fear that it won't work, or maybe fear that you'll find out that you're not as ready as you think you are or hoped you are. So today I'm going to help you kind of break that loop of all of the fear and all the overthinking. And I'm going to call out overthinking as fear today, but overthinking could be something different for you. It could not be fear. Maybe it's anxiety or worry. You can put whatever word you want in front of it. But ultimately, I'm not going to give you a perfect plan on how to get past these things, but I'm going to give you ways to start taking action. I want to get you moving, right? Because moving is when we learn. Moving is when we find clarity, when we actually start moving towards what we say that we want. Not the thing that we keep telling people that we want, but the thing that we're showing people that we're doing. That's the gap. You got to close that. And if you're thinking alone could change your life, how's that been going? And then also, if you think thinking alone will help make you have the life you want, you'd be living your dream already. And if you are, fantastic. I'm willing to bet you've taken some action, though. You've moved beyond just wanting something. Because the truth is, clarity doesn't come from sitting still. It doesn't come from wanting to do the thing or thinking about the thing or researching about the thing or watching people doing the thing. Clarity comes from movement. Now, don't confuse progress with movement. Those are two different things. You have to think with intention, decide what you want, and then be courageous enough to find the clarity through the movement. And here's what, kind of overthinking really does. It drains your energy, and then you fooled yourself to think, I'm being productive by not doing the thing. And you don't need more thoughts. You don't need more advice from me on what you could be doing and should be doing and all the different things. We've talked about that enough. But you need one decision, one step, the next step. Whether you decide right now whether that next step is thinking more or taking action. So why does overthinking happen? Right? It could be something that people say, I'm an overthinker, which is just you affirming your identity and making you feel okay about being an overthinker. You're accepting that. Or you could say, I have a habit of overthinking, and here's why. I had a habit of overthinking because I was afraid that I wasn't going to be ready for what is to come, for everything that I want. That's just me owning my overthinking of why, and it was fear. And there's this. Eric Thomas talks about don't let your talent take you. A lot of times, people think that talent is enough, but don't let talent take you to places that your character can't keep you. And character just means, in this regard, like who you've become along the way, based on the skills that you've learned. The science behind overthinking that I want to dive into, this is some of my own personal experience as well, but overthinking is when the mind keeps circling. Just imagine, like, you know the answer. The answer is take action, and you just draw a circle around it, and then you just keep circling it. But you find certainty, and here's the thing I need to be doing. But you find certainty in that. And then the brain thinks, oh, I've already done it because now I feel good about knowing what I need to do, that you don't actually then take the step to do the thing that you said you need to do. But certainty is not necessarily the goal of growth. We'll find it along the way, but growth requires uncertainty. It takes this I'm not sure energy into, but I'm going to find out. And oftentimes overthinking is about your brain trying to keep you safe from a fear that we've created, not a fear that may actually be real. It's trying to prevent you from pain and rejection and uncertainty and failure and all these things that we are so worried about, but we're so worried about them that we want to keep them by not taking action. And I get it. Our brain's doing our job, doing the job that it should be. And again, that's our brain's meant to keep us safe. But if you have that thing in the back of your mind and probably in the front of your mind of, I want to do something different. I want to be in a different place. I want to have a different relationship, a different mind, a different body, a different career, whatever it is, you get to decide, am I going to be led by fear or am I going to be led by purpose? Purpose. Purpose means taking action matters, which means taking no action also matters. Okay, so we're going to talk about this through a lens of purpose more than anything else, because overthinking just postpones your progress. It doesn't necessarily guarantee success either, right? We only learn by doing, we don't learn by thinking. So what's the cost of this? Like we've talked about, so what? Overthinking is going to stall or maybe eliminate any momentum you have. It's going to cost you your peace because you're going to be caught up in overthinking, and overthinking is typically going to be anxiety and worry, but it's also going to cost you confidence. And Dr. Casey Lacey talks about confidence as a skill. If you haven't checked her out, go check her out. We did a podcast together, but she's incredible. She's doing incredible things and really talking about confidence. And one of the things that she talks about is this taking action thought. So if you want to dive deeper, Dr. Casey Lacey, KasiLacey, Dr. Casey Lacey, go follow her. Because every day that you get stuck in your head, myself included, you start to believe a lie that you can't do something, that you're not ready, that you don't know how to do it. All of those things, if you actually authentically can own that you don't think you're ready or you don't think you know enough, then get busy learning and getting ready. Don't just wallow in continuing to tell yourself that you're not ready, because if you keep telling yourself that, you are going to be correct. Because if you say, I'm not ready, that is true. If you say, I'm not ready yet, but here's the things I'm going to do so that I feel ready, that's the movement we're talking about today. But the longer you wait to confront this overthinking and this doubt, the louder it's going to sound in your own head, because stagnation feeds anxiety, right? It's almost that you're not ready. So if you do nothing, then it confirms you're not ready, and then you'll never be ready. But action reduces it immediately. Start taking the action. That's exactly what happened with this podcast. That's what happened with the books. It's what happened with me quitting my a healthcare leadership role that I absolutely loved to do every day, but I knew I was meant to be a keynote speaker, to write books, to do this podcast, to share this message all over the world. So I had to take the action of walking away from the other job, the healthcare leadership job that I've been working on for so many years, to pursue this thing that I know I'm meant to do. But the first action I had to take was believe in myself, develop a plan, and then make a decision. That's the action. Sometimes the action isn't a physical action. It's a mental decision that you make, and then you start going. Because when you act, your brain gets new information. I can tell you the day that I resigned, my mind shifted. I was still fully committed to my team up until the very last moment. And I'm still committed to those people. I still care deeply about them. So you don't have to cut something out of your life to take new action. You just need to figure out how to take new action while you still care about what you've been doing. But when you don't act, your brain continues to be full of fear. I've had so many people over the years say, "What are you doing? Why aren't you a keynote speaker all over the world?" And I've honestly didn't have an answer for them besides, I'm scared that I'm not going to succeed. I'm scared that people aren't going to see me as, somebody that they want on their stage in front of their teams. I was doing all of that. Like, I was projecting fear on other people that I actually had for myself. And then therefore, they never even got the chance to prove me right or prove me wrong in the first place. So, but well beyond that, but here's the thing that I want you to know, that even through my own personal experiences, you're not broken if you're overthinking. You just have the habit of overthinking, of which then you can develop a habit of taking action. You're just simply human. It's very human to be overthinking, because there's a lot of things that you sometimes feel like you need to think a lot about so that you don't make a risky decision or careless decision, which is fine, right? There's a big difference between overthinking and wise thinking. There's a big difference between those things. But wise thinking's asking, what's the next step? The overthinking's asking, what if everything goes wrong? What if the next step's the wrong step? You hear the difference between overthinking? Wise thinking's, what's the next step? Let me learn, let me gather, then let me commit to the step. Overthinking is, what if everything goes wrong? Wise thinking is short, focused, and forward. Short, focused, forward, wise thinking. Overthinking is long, emotional, and looping. You just keep having the same thought over and over again. You don't actually move forward. Wise thinking creates a plan that you can execute. Overthinking creates a trap or prison that you can't escape. It just creates this endless loop. And if you want to know whether or not you're overthinking or wise thinking, or, obviously kind of how do you delineate between the two in the moment, ask yourself this. There's two simple questions here. Has my thinking produced a decision? Yes, no. Or has it produced more hesitation? If it's created a decision, it's probably forward thinking. If it hasn't, it's creating more hesitation for you. Okay. It's fear if it's just created hesitation and delay. But let's talk a little bit more, as you've heard me say it a bunch of different times, but like this energy and this courage around creating movement through, or creating clarity through movement. And, a lot of people will say, once I feel confident, then I'll go do the thing. But what if you understood that doing the thing makes you confident? So you're actually like, this is not a chicken and egg thing. This is very simply, if you want to be confident, you're going to have to take the action. Action comes first, then the confidence. The amount of times I've been on stage makes me feel more confident about being on stage again. Me overthinking and reading everything and watching every TED Talk and having everybody tell me the best things to do on stage and how to make the slides perfect and doing all that didn't make me more confident. My preparation makes me confident, but then taking action and doing what I want to be doing and learning and growing and just all of this process, that's actually where my confidence comes from. It comes from all of my hours of learning and reading and prep, but it really starts to show up in front of others whenever I know that I can adapt and I can do different things when I need to while I'm up on stage, or handle or pivot, technology issues or whatever it is. It's just, I'm so confident because I've taken the action, not just because I've wanted it. And there's like a small step that you can take. A lot of times people think they have to go from overthinking to taking action is like this huge leap. It's really just a small step. You just adjust a little. You learn, you move, and just understanding all those times that you've adjusted, learned, and moved to give you more confidence. And that's how progress is made. That's how you actually start to recognize that you're somebody who can move beyond the overthinking loop by taking action. So here are 3 quick things that are going to help you today if overthinking you feel like has been running you tired. First thing, set a 10-minute decision timer for one decision that you've been stuck on. Choose one decision you've been circling. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Again, circling over and over and over again. Set a timer for 10 minutes. And during that 10 minutes, you're not allowed to research anything else. You're not allowed to ask 5 more people. You're not allowed to create 12 scenarios. You just decide. You have 10 minutes because the goal isn't about picking the perfect option. The goal is to stop using all of your energy on the preparation, on the overanalyzing everything. Choose one decision you've been circling, 10 minutes, and start taking action. The second thing is write down the next step, not the whole plan. If you've been spending so much time trying to develop every single part of the plan and you haven't even taken the first step of the plan, this one's for you. Write the next step with the end in mind, right? 7 habits of highly successful people begin with the end in mind. So write down the next step and then the next step. And then, believe it or not, you'll have a whole plan. We try to solve the entire overthinkers. I say we, right? We try to complicate and solve the whole journey in our heads before we even take the first step. But what's the right next action you can take? Is it one email? Is it one phone call? Is it reading the one page? Is it the one workout? Is it the first draft? Is it one conversation? What is the next step? Write it down, keep it small, and make it doable. Make it doable. Okay? Don't make up for lost time by trying to do 3 steps at once. Write the next step and get on it. The third thing is take action within the 24 hours. So small action is fine here, but I want you to move on something you've been thinking about within the next 24 hours. Because if you wait longer than that, your brain's going to try to renegotiate all the things again. And it will try to talk you out of it. Like my brain does the same thing. Whenever I'm motivated about doing something or inspired by something, I write it down, I make a plan, and I start doing it within that same day. Because when your motivation is high and your purpose is high and your clarity is high, that's when you start taking action. So start it. And it could be something small, but man, it is the most powerful thing that you can possibly do. And I want to leave you with, so focus on one of those 3, do one of those 3. And a quick little reframe for you. You get to choose what you believe about yourself. You get to choose the energy that you keep feeding, what you focus on. And then you get to choose what action you take. You are the thinker of your thoughts. You are not just your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. Take control of your thoughts. So the next time you start spinning in this overthinking loop, and I want you to say this out loud. This is fear. It's not wisdom. Acknowledge it. Call it out. And then ask, what would the version of me that is pursuing what they want, what is the version of me that I respect the most and believe in the most do next? This casting this vision of yourself is really, really powerful, because that's when the high character, if you remember the talent and character, so high character is built in those moments, not when it's easy, but when you're tempted to stay right where you are. So I want to wrap up reemphasizing some of the important things here. So overthinking is not preparation. It's fear trying to keep you safe and familiar in a place that maybe you don't like, but you find certainty in it. You're not created to live stuck. We're created to grow. We can grow as much as we possibly can if we're willing to acknowledge why we stay stuck. So today I want you to choose movement, choose the next step, and choose action over anxiety. When you start to feel anxious, what action can you take? Because here's the challenge. Pick one thing you've been avoiding, set the 10-minute timer, write down the next step, and take action within the 24 hours. Those are the 3 things. One decision you've been avoiding, 10 minutes, figure it out, write the next step, and then take action. And if this episode's hit you in a way that has been meaningful for you, please, I want you to share it with other people. Help other people get out of this overthinking loop. By you taking action, it encourages other people to take action, because I want to celebrate you moving. And so after you've listened to this episode and you've done those 3 things and you've started to take action, I want you to send me a message on any social media, or make a comment here on the podcast or on YouTube. I want you to commit and write down the words, I'm moving. If you've listened to this episode and you realize here's something I've been overthinking and I'm ready to start taking action, you just make the comment of I'm moving, and then I want to follow along with you. I want to hear what you're moving on. I want to hear what you're doing. And I appreciate all of you being brave enough to own that, because as soon as somebody says I'm moving on and they comment on something, somebody else watching or listening this is going to think, okay, I want to do that too. So your effort, your action will inspire other people to take more action. So I want to wrap up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Again, hitting subscribe can sometimes be the action that you need, so that you get reminded every week when these episodes come out that you're somebody who's learning and growing. I believe in you. I believe in what you're capable of. And I'm TJ Sweet. And until that next episode, I hope you continue to choose your own mindset. Remind yourself that you always have the power and the choice to reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. I will see you next week.